Today we'll be working on lesson 1-4, linear regression, and this is the notes that should be glued in your notebook. Let's start on number 1. This table shows the minutes played versus points scored, and on the side you're supposed to create a scatter plot and sketch a line of best fit and circle any outliers that may exist. So go ahead and do that, pause the video. I do hope that you tried on your own and this is what you should have on your graph. Now let's together do the line of best fit. The line of best fit is basically a line, it's like an average. It's going to be in the middle of those points, and the number of points above the line should be almost equal to the number of points below it. Some of the points should also be on the line. Now the outliers are those points that make this line of best fit look bad. And basically these are the points that are far from the line. For example, this point seems to not fit the data. It's like an error. So maybe the one who was collecting the scores made a mistake. It could be a mistake. So think of outliers are those points that make your fit look bad. Now, can you predict how many points Dalen would have scored if he played 35 minutes? To do that, what you need to do is basically find the 35 on the x-axis and project that to the line and find where it's going to cut it at a point or cross a point and find the y that matches it. So it looks like 25, I think. So in 35 minutes, it seems that he has scored 25 points. Now, is this a reasonable prediction? Now, I can see that my line seems to be a line of best fit. It looks like a good prediction, but if the number of minutes that they have given me, if it were to be like 115 or 120, then projecting that to the line and finding the y would be a very hard task to do. So there should be a different method. Can you think of a method to get a more accurate prediction? Now, one method could be that you take 2 points on this line, for example, any 2 points on it, and find the x and y of these 2 points. Using these 2 points, find the slope and the equation in the slope-intercept form. So this is how you would do it without a calculator, and we're going to come back to that in lesson 1-8 later on. For the sake of this lesson, we're going to learn how we can find the linear regression. And this is basically a way to find the equation of the line of best fit. And to do that, we need to be using our calculator. So let's get our calculator. And what we need to do together now is to plug in the table values, the x and the y values in our calculator. Now, how do we do that to find the equation? Let's start by stat. Then you go to enter, because like as you can see, we're in edit. As you can see, I have values from before, so what you need to do, let's quit, go back, and this is how you can clear your list without resetting your calculator in case you have softwares over there. So you press stat 4, as you can see it says clear list, and then you press second 1, which means L1, comma, and then second 2, which is L2, and you press enter, and done. This is how you clear your list in case you have any software on your calculator you don't want to erase. If you don't care and you have no software, you can do second plus 712, and this basically erase all of your RAM. Okay, so this is how you can clear your RAM. Now let's go back to stat, edit, so I press enter, so stat enter, and in L1 I press all the x values, and in L2 I press all of the y values. So let's do that together. You might be faster than me, so go ahead and do that. Now I'm gonna press the numbers. So these are the x values that are on the table. Make sure that you don't make any mistakes, because if you miss a number, your equation might not show. So these are the values. Now to find the y values, you move over to L2 and you press all the numbers. Check that you haven't missed any. So as you let's repeat, we do stat enter, then now we do stat again, and you move to calculate because you want to calculate the linear regression. So you move over and then you press 4. Some of the calculators will show just linear regression and you press enter, but for me I have to press enter a couple of times until I get to the equation. And the equation always round to the nearest thousands, so in this case it's going to be y equals 0.767x minus 5.433. Now what you need to do next, go back to your graph, let's push this up. And yes, we thought of a different method, and that is the linear regression. Now what we need to do next is to use this equation that we found to see how many points he would have scored if he played 35 minutes. So using the equation that we have created, let's do that and see if our prediction before was correct. So let's do that. Now I'm going to write the equation that I found up there, so I have space to write. So y equals 0.767x minus 5.433. And when they tell you 35 minutes, if you go back to the table, you're going to see that the minutes is the x. So you plug it in the x. You plug in 35 there. When you calculate that, you're going to see that y is equal to 23 points. And that's almost equal to the number I got there, but this is a more accurate answer. Now let's move on to number 2. I want you to pause the video, try number 2 on your own, see if you can remember the calculator steps, and then press play so you can see and you match your answer with mine. Now let's go back to the calculator. And do you remember, let's clear this so you can actually see it. Do you remember what you need to press to clear your lists if you don't want to erase your RAM? You press stat 4 and then you press second 1, comma, second 2, enter, and it will clear your list. Now let me clear this so you can see. So you go to stat, enter, you plug in the values in L1, make sure that you're in L1, and the numbers are the following: 4, 6, 9, 11, 12, 16. Move over to L2 and type in the Y values in there. Okay, make sure you didn't make any mistake. After that, you go to Stat, Calc, so you move over, and then number 4, press enter until you get the equation. Always round to the nearest thousands, so in this case the answer is going to be y equals 1.021, x minus 0.707. So that's the equation. Now let's go back to our sheet and see what the next question is. Determine the number of stops made if 25 tickets were issued. Now remember, what is x in this case? X is the number of stops made, keep that in mind. And y is the number of tickets issued. And they have given you the number of tickets issued, so they gave you y and they want x. So you need to make sure what is it that they're asking for. So let's write down the equation over here. So the equation was 1.021x minus 0.707. Now, since they gave me the tickets, I can plug that in for y. So 25 equals 1.021x minus 0.707. Now to calculate x, I have to add 0.707 to both sides. So what I'm going to get is 25.707 is equal to 1.021x. And then I need to divide by 1.021 on both sides, and you will find that the x value is going to be 25.178 stops. So that is the number of stops. Now go ahead, try number 3 on your own, and we're going to go over this in class.